Yeah, maybe he was looking at the Daily Mail as well, given what they've been reporting on him in recent times. However, it's quite significant that he actually made the appearance and was prepared to interact with the public as well.
Behind the ancient walls of Windsor Castle, as the colour-splashed spectacle of Garter Day unfolded before a global audience, a private, last-minute appeal was dying in a hushed conversation. It wasn't from a dignitary or a protocol officer. It came from the King's own brother, Prince Andrew, and its rejection was a cold, clinical reinforcement of an exile that is now permanent. What looked from the outside like a seamless display of royal tradition, plumed hats, velvet robes, the timeless procession, was, behind the scenes, a carefully managed operation with one non-negotiable objective: ensuring the Duke of York remained a ghost on the periphery. His attempt to infiltrate the ceremony wasn't just denied, it was treated as a breach of security, a destabilising threat to the monarchy's fragile, newly rebuilt image. And it reveals a desperation that's moving beyond palace politics into something far more personal and far more bleak. Multiple independent sources, including a former senior aide with ties to the Lord Chamberlain's office, confirmed that in the tense days leading to Garter Day, Andrew's team made a formal, direct approach. His argument, described to us as a masterpiece of self-delusion, hinged on his status as a royal knight of the Garter. He contended his place was inherently within the procession, beside the King and the Prince of Wales. But the plea, we're told, was laced with a subtler, more pathetic undertone. A suggestion that his visible inclusion would be a gesture of family unity, a healing narrative the public would embrace. The King's Circle saw it for what it was, a transparent gambit. The response was swift and left no room for ambiguity. Not only was he barred from processing, but his entire presence was to be minimised and controlled. The instruction came from the very top, our insider revealed. It was framed not as a personal snub, but as a necessary operational directive. His presence in any official capacity introduces an unacceptable reputational risk. The event is a global broadcast. They cannot have the viewer's eye or the camera lens drifting to him. Inside the castle quadrangle on the day, the atmosphere among courtiers was one of focused containment. There was no drama, just a smooth, professional execution of the plan. Andrew was permitted to attend the private luncheon and service in St George's Chapel, a bone thrown to avoid accusations of total cruelty. But his movements were choreographed to avoid meaningful contact with the working royals during public moments. He arrived separately, was seated discreetly, and departed without fanfare. One staffer present noted, "It was like managing a VIP who is also a potential contaminant. Polite, firm, and absolutely boxed in." This clinical exclusion was amplified tenfold by the triumphant, unified image the working royals projected just metres away. As Andrew slipped through side doors, the world saw King Charles, resplendent in his mantle as sovereign of the order, sharing a laugh with the Prince of Wales. They saw the Princess of Wales, a vision of modern royal poise, engaging effortlessly with the crowd. This was the visual manifesto of the new Carolean era, streamlined, uncontaminated, and forward-looking. Every shared glance between Charles and William, every public smile from Kate, was a deliberate, powerful contrast to the isolated figure lurking in the shadows. The palace communications team didn't need to issue a statement. The photography did all the talking. So, why would Andrew, who must understand his position, make such a hopeless public plea? The answer lies not in Windsor Castle, but a few miles down the road at Royal Lodge. The battle for his 30-room home is the last grinding war of his royal life. The King's strategy to dislodge him, by slashing subsidies and refusing to fund the mansion's multi-million-pound renovations, is working. Andrew is financially cornered. Insiders close to his circle suggest the Garter Day manoeuvre was a desperate piece of leverage building. In his mind, a source explained, a high-profile ceremonial appearance resets the narrative. It creates a comeback headline. He could then use that perceived shift to argue to the king and the royal trustees. See, the public can accept me. My institutional value remains. Therefore, my residence should reflect that status. It was a catastrophic misreading of reality. The palace saw it as attempted emotional and reputational blackmail. The consequences of his fall are measured in increasingly mundane and humiliating details. His Met Police protection detail, a symbol of royal importance, was stripped away years ago, forcing him to rely on private security he can scarcely afford. His once bustling office at Buckingham Palace has been quietly reallocated. Even within the cavernous Royal Lodge, the domestic reality is shrinking. We understand from former household staff that several auxiliary roles, junior gardeners, a second chef, have been made redundant. The estate is growing quieter, emptier, a physical manifestation of his receding relevance. This profound isolation creates a silent, ongoing tension for his daughters, Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie. They occupy a painful, carefully negotiated space. Loved by their uncle the king, they are included in family events. They were at Garter Day, but their participation exists under a stern, unspoken condition. Their father cannot be part of the picture. Their loyalty is torn, a private heartache played out in public. Every time they are photographed smiling alongside the Waleses, it is a fresh, visible confirmation of the boundary that has been drawn around their father. Their inclusion is King Charles's kindness, but it is also his strategy. It proves the monarchy can be merciful without being weak, and that the sins of the father are not visited upon the children. The fallout from the failed plea extends beyond one day. It has solidified Andrew's reputation within the institution, not just as a liability, but as a supplicant, a figure whose only power is to ask for favours that will be denied. This dynamic is corrosive. It shuts down any lingering sympathy from minor courtiers and cuts off back-channel support. People now see engaging with him as a career risk, a former palace aide noted. He's not a player to be reasoned with, he's a problem to be managed. That changes everything, which forces the ultimate unresolved question. What is the endgame for a prince with no role, dwindling funds, and a home he cannot keep? Was this plea a final, tragic miscalculation of a man utterly divorced from reality, clinging to the protocols of a past that is ashes? Or was it a deliberate, if pathetic, act of psychological warfare? A message to his brother that he will not fade away quietly, that he will force the king to repeatedly, publicly reject his own flesh and blood. For King Charles, the calculus remains brutally institutional. Each time Andrew is seen in a ceremonial context, the global media machine instantly replays the Virginia Giuffre settlement, the Newsnight interview, the Epstein Association. The monarch's duty is to the survival of the crown, not to the comfort of his brother. Every no to Andrew is a yes to the sanctity of the throne he has waited a lifetime to inherit and must now protect at all costs. So as Andrew retreats to the echoing, half-staffed grandeur of Royal Lodge, fighting a financial siege he is destined to lose, the monarchy's carriages roll on, its banners flutter, and its future is displayed without him. His pleas are no longer met with anger or debate in palace corridors. They are met with a weary, practiced procedure of refusal. He has become a scheduled item on a risk management report, not a brother in a family dispute. The final, lingering question is no longer about his next request for access. It's about what emerges when the last trappings are finally gone. When the house is relinquished, when he moves to the far, smaller Frogmore cottage or a private home, What remains of Prince Andrew? He will be a man defined solely by his past, not his title, living in the long, quiet shadow of a family that celebrates, mourns, and reigns without him. What do you believe is Andrew's true objective now? Is it about money, property, or a desperate need for relevance that can never be restored? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And for the inside story on the royal family that you won't find anywhere else, make sure you're subscribed and have notifications turned on for Royal Family Daily.